Okay, this presentation is to accompany the drop-in session, So What the Heck is a Digital Pen, done at the recent Learning and Teaching Conference. So what the heck is a digital pen? It's a pen which records both audio and what you're writing. There's a few of these on the market now. The one I use, and I think it's probably the one that's most popular, is the Echo Smart Pen. There's a number of different varieties of this depending on how much memory the pen has on board. You can have 2, 4 or 8 megabytes of memory. If you've got the 8 megabyte one, that can record up to 800 hours of notes and audio, which is quite a lot, a heck of a lot more than you would get from a traditional digital recorder, let alone a tape one. Link to the website there. Have a look at the pen in a little bit more detail. How it works is there's a small short focal length camera just behind the pen tip. So as you're writing, it records the pen strokes as well as recording what you're saying as well. The other end of the pen is a USB port, which is used to link to the computer when you want to upload documents, and also a microphone socket where you can add either a small microphone or you connect it to a cable. Obviously connecting a pen to a cable does make it a little bit harder to use. At the other end there is a bit of a design flaw, which is this very small tip, which is quite easy to use, and I'm fairly sure you can't actually buy them if you use them. So you'd have hoped with all this technology they've come up with a slightly better solution than that. They come in notebooks, special notebooks, which if you look at the page you see they have a number of functions on the page, like we record, pause, stop, play what we've done, as well as do quite a few little functions, such as you can produce a little calculator application as well, and there's a few other things you can do. You don't have to use the notebooks, and it's possible to download, basically print your own paper, assuming you have a LaserJet printer that's PostScript compatible and print at 600 dpi or higher. Okay, software which comes with it. The one which comes with it free is the LabScribe desktop, which you can download freely. You obviously need a pen to use it, so I've got it on at least 3 computers, which allows you to connect in the cloud and also the Connect application. There's also a few apps that are available, but we'll have a look at the LabScribe desktop software. Okay, this is it. Don't seem to be much there at the moment, but we'll open up a few other things. Active notebooks. Double click on that. Comes up with a couple of notebooks I have. Click on that one. We'll see over here there's a number of pages in the notebook. This is one I just basically use for scribbling. We click on that one. We come up with this page, which is me talking about G proteins. And if we click on that, you'll hear me talking about G proteins. Structure of G proteins. And how we draw them. Okay, we can move down the page back and forth as it would. So if I click here, subunit, 3 of these. Release of the beta subunit, and leads to a cascade sending a signal. Okay, so that's a page which I've recorded, and the question becomes now of how do we distribute it. And there's 2 ways of distributing it. The traditional way is to upload it to the cloud, so we'll have a look at my cloud account. It's up here. That's a little chunk to do itself, while it loads a web page, and comes up to my account of things I've loaded to the cloud. I don't tend to use this too much these days. I use a different method which we'll have a look at in a bit. When you load things to the cloud, you can either set it so anyone can access it, or you can set it so only a small number of people can access via an access list. So in this case, this is a meeting of the functional food group from last year, and there's only a few people, and it's hasn't been viewed very often. Other things which are more revision type topics, there's been more people viewed. So if we click on this one over here, we can look at it in the same way. We can just, this is me talking about G&G. Okay, as requested, here's a moderately last minute pencast on gluconeogenesis, the flip side of glycolysis. Okay, that's the small version. We can make it bigger, make it full screen, different, and I beg your pardon. He uses the same and works exactly the same way as the one from the main window does. Okay, so that's one way of getting it. But perhaps the best way these days is simply to export it to a PDF. We'll talk about where you get the software to do this in a second, but at the moment I'm just going to right click here. It brings up a menu. Send page 21 to, and it's like one page and it's like more than one page. I'm going to send it to the computer. Okay, so that's me the one pages with audio. Pages on their own are just audio. Click on continue to select all of them. Let's minimize these because it will be hidden. And there's a little thing will appear in a minute. There it is. Now let's save that. Just replacing the one I had a bit earlier on so we can find it there. So we double click on the PDF, and now the beauty of this is we've not just got the text. These things are held. We've also got the audio. Alpha. B. We've also got the audio. These PDFs aren't very big. Probably, I guess, of a similar size to MP3s rather than, for example, WAV files. Okay, we've got the presentation. Right. So we use there to create that PDF was the Connect facility, which, as you notice, will send it to other things, just the computer. If you're into Google Docs or Evernote, it will send it to them as well. To access the audio on the PDFs, you need to have Adobe Reader X installed. This is free. ICT staff will install it on your computer here, and certainly did for me, and it's very easy to download it for your home machines. And so it allows you to use the PDFs with the embedded audio. A number of apps that are available. There's one for converting handwriting text, which I've not used, but I've seen people who have used it successfully. Like a lot of these things, obviously you need to train that thing to recognise your handwriting. Paper tablet is something which might be useful. Basically use your notebook effectively as a tablet. So you can write in your notebook and project on the screen. I've not got this quite to work yet. We'll have a look at some of the things where you might use it in a couple of slides. There are applications for iPad and iTablet, and not for Android yet. And that noise you can hear is my fingers drumming on the desk. So you can use it as a tablet. A little picture there showing what's happened. One possible way, which might be useful in the future, is applications like Dabbleboard, which is a collaborative whiteboard thing which is available on the web. So potentially you could have people working on the same project in different parts of the country or different parts of the world. Okay, what do we use it for? I use it quite a lot for small group revision and tutorials where we sat around a table talking about a particular topic and I'll be writing stuff in the notebook. So students can ask me questions, I can talk to them about what the answer is, and they can later go back and access it. But you get some money this year to buy some for student research notebooks for the final year project. Students haven't been too keen on them, it has to be said. Part of the problem is possibly because by the time we got the money and by the time we got the pens ordered and they arrived, it was about a month into the start of the academic year. So it was a bit of a shift out for them. They also didn't like the idea of having to carry the pen around, but they were a bit worried about losing them. So not a great success there. We'll try it again next year. We'll start off with the current second years a little bit early and hopefully we'll be a bit more successful. But the one thing that's been unambiguously successful is recording student meetings. We do quite a lot of teamwork and group work in SSE, and we have quite a lot of things like peer review. So we've got to make sure the peer review is appropriate and valid. And one of the things we do is observe meetings. Now in the past, observing meetings, of course, meant you would sit there, which in many cases meant the students would often turn around and ask you questions even though you're not actually there. You could record them by video, which is a bit artificial. So last year we started recording using by pens, and this has been very successful. The students just use it as a record the meetings in the normal way, and it gives you an insight into the process of the meeting. Obviously, if you got one student in a group who was very good and very keen, you might get a set of minutes which look excellent, but do they reflect on the performance of everyone in the group? Possibly not. This allows us to assess how people have performed in a meeting. What I do is just normally listen to them and comment in sort of real time as I'm listening to them. So it's quite useful, and students enjoy using them. Okay, there we are. That was the short version of What the Heck are Digital Pens. Thanks for listening.